Well, hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today, I'm really excited to bring this figure to you because it's really outside of the core class figures like Shockwave that we took a look at. This is our first look at Legacy Wave 2, and it is none other than Voyager class Jhiaxus. And according to TF Wiki, that's how it's pronounced because the name was created by Simon Furman and it was a play on the phrase G ax us because he felt the G2 cartoon, the G2 comic was going to be canceled by Marvel, which it eventually was. But as you can tell, Jhiaxus comes to us from the G2 universe, and he was the main bad guy in that series. I know Megatron was still around, so I think Jhiaxus was a little bit above Megatron as a Decepticon, but an older Decepticon who operated outside the lines or whatever, something like that. I got this figure off of eBay from the Cybertron.com store. Unfortunately, I don't think they have any more, but if they got it, then it should be showing up at retail sooner than later. Now we're starting off in jet mode, and this is very accurate to the comic, at least from what I've seen. Never really read the the G2 comic, so I couldn't tell you. Very bright colors. One thing I am impressed with is they were able to match the gold here and the gold here for the most part. This is clear plastic from here to to right before the nose cone. That's clear plastic. Yes, that means there's a pin hinge there. There's a hinge there with the nose cone, which is regular plastic. If you're gentle, it might last, but we know how these things go. Other than that, there's no real landing gear. There are thrusters here in the back. Yes, those are blast effect compatible. The weapons are blast effect compatible. Let's take a quick look at them. You have the main rifle, which can peg under the nose cone, and then, of course, the pistol, which can peg here on the side. And I'll tell you right now, the pistol and the rifle are basically the same mold, just scaled down. Now, I have to be honest, the pistol I really don't like. It is this smoky, smoked plastic, translucent plastic with a little silver detailing on it, but it is entirely too thin. The product pictures, the back of the box pictures, they made this seem to be a little bit thicker than it should be. I'm actually more concerned about this breaking than this section of the vehicle, and that it's meant to peg in upside down over here. Personally, I recommend just pegging it into the side of the larger rifle and then sticking it under the nose cone. This is what you also do for weapon storage in robot mode, which we'll get to after the transformation. But to be honest with you, this is really the main weapon I would leave Jhiaxus with if on display. So let's get those out of the way. Other than that, it's a really nice vehicle mode. I want to say there's a little bit of a Batwing motif with the wings there, which, again, there's these smaller ones down here. Now, I don't know if these are supposed to be a scaled version of these, even though these are still on display in robot mode. But as you can see, looking underneath, yeah, all that smoked translucent plastic. But that's about it. It's a very swooshable jet. Really like it. A lot of fun. So how about we pause and we'll come back with the transformation. Okay, I made some adjustments here to hopefully keep everything in frame. Still fooling around with the new camera, so, we shall see. But it did work. It was actually very, just as easy as the older phone in terms of getting the information off and being able to edit. And also, since it was that core class Shockwave review, I gotta be honest, looking through the camera now, I see a difference, but once it's processed and on YouTube, I kind of don't. That could be me. Anyway, start off, come underneath here, and what you're gonna do is There is a tab on the rear fuselage of the jet that pegs into a slot under the wing. What you want to do is free that up, and then you're just going to loop the whole thing around. There's a little friction peg hinge that will hold that in place there. What you then want to do is fold the wing down, just like so. It will, again, sort of friction tab into place, and then fold the wingtip up. Do that again on this side, a little bit faster. You can pretty, oh, and the wings do pop out. It actually kind of helps with pegging the green into the white. And I do want to mention, I'm not sure, but I don't think this white plastic is that soapy, like fibery looking plastic that Top Gun Maverick was made out of, or Siege Apeface was. So once you have the wings folded up like that, come in, unpeg what will be the arms from the bottom of the fuselage. They will double hinge up, and there are tabs right there that those green hinges will peg into. And you'll just snap it into place there, but keep them a little elevated just to give yourself some wiggle room. Coming back around to the top of the jet, first thing you want to do is loosen up what will be the feet. They peg into the thrusters there, and make sure you do that going back to when going back to vehicle mode. That they peg in, they sit flush. Everything. That's one thing I like. Everything pegs in and posts in very securely on this figure. Separate the legs, and now what you're going to do is come around, flip out those little robotic bat wings there. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be just flat, but I basically push them all the way forward until they naturally stop leaning up against the tabs there that the wings pegged into. Next, what you want to do is push up. There's a double accordion hinge here. This is the front of the leg, so what you want to do is bring that down, bring the foot up, and that will peg into place, and then flip the tail fin around, and that will tab and sit flush on the inside of the leg. You can also do that before. Well, actually, you really can't, so you want to, again, unpeg this section, bring it up, flip the feet up, bring that hinge down, make sure it pegs into place. Those tail fin pieces actually do help hold the leg into place. And there you go. So the next step is you want to flip what was the section of the back that the wings are attached to up. There's a tab there and a slot where my finger is. That will secure it into place. Rotate the figure around. We're now looking again at the underside, and you're going to rotate the waist around so the legs are now facing towards you. I am going to adjust the camera ever so slightly to bring everything up a little. Next, what you can do is separate the arms. They peg together, and you're going to fold them out, and they'll just kind of hang out there. And there's a little bit of some cool stuff going on with the chest here. First, what you want to do is fold down this front section and then open up this back section. Now, when going into jet mode, the instructions show you bring the back section up first. I recommend bringing up the front section, and then so that it'll make it a little easier for the tabs here to tab into the front there. And yes, clear tabs into clear slots. Yeah. So what you want to do now is bring this down about halfway with your finger. Come in, push this side little section up, bring the nose cone down a little more, and then flip the tip up into the chest, and then tab that into the sides and the waist. Come around the back, flip the head of Jhiaxus all the way up and around, and now what you're going to do is flip this back panel up, Make sure that the little tab on the front of the panel that Jhiaxus' head sits on goes into the slot there in the nose cone. That'll peg up nicely. You're just about done. The last step, open these little forearm panels. If you have a little bit of a problem, you can push on that ridge there. That will help flip the hands out. Do it again on this side. And there you have Jhiaxus in its robot mode. And yeah, kind of a cool figure, I gotta say. Before we look at anything else, something I gotta mention that I really didn't know from the preview pics: articulated hands. Yeah, these are new sculpt. These aren't like they're using Optimus Prime's hands, but you know, kind of when you look at it and you think about it, Studio Series 86 Leader Class Coronation Starscream, articulated hands on a Voyager figure. Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime, articulated hands on a Leader Class figure. On a Voyager size Leader Class price point figure. So I kind of think, unless they're going to throw in a bunch of accessories, I don't see why all Voyagers don't come with articulated hands. They do rotate at the wrist there. Now, articulation, a little over a 90-degree bend at the elbow. Swivel. The one little thing is, yeah, the panels don't like to stay in place with the hand, but, you know, just when you grab it, move it there and it won't pop out. Great articulation below the waist. Nice hip bend, over 90-degree knee bend, lateral movement, and, of course, ankle pivot. The big thing, though, the head. Let's bring in a look at the head. Yeah, look at that guy. I do believe that is close to what he looked like in the comics, or it looked like in the comics. Very expressive ball joint, almost a little too loose, but I can understand why they kind of went that route. That was my fault. The figure can, of course, hold its weapons, close up the hand. Pistol can go in here. Rifle, of course, can peg in there. If you do wish, you can store either one on the back here on that peg, but the instructions show, as I mentioned in the beginning, pegging the rifle in like that and storing it like that. So I do appreciate having the weapon storage. A lot more white in robot mode in terms of the colors, but you know, the gold, the green, the red, still very visible. Oh, and did you notice the G2 Decepticon logo? Yeah, right there. Kind of cool. So, I dig the figure. I really do. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it, but it's cool. Now, there's a rumor that this figure is going to be redone as Armada Starscream, because going back to Thrilling 30, that version of Jhiaxus was retooled from a deluxe class Armada Starscream. I'll be honest, I don't see anything on this figure that would make for a good Armada Starscream. They would have to do so much retooling, a bunch of new parts, that they might as well just do a new figure. What I do see, especially from the vehicle mode, is this could be used as a template for a great Armada thrust. So there's that. But we'll pause, and we'll come back with my final thoughts. I really dig Jhiaxus. I think it's a brilliant figure. The transformation is fun. It's intuitive. I did it with the instructions once, and I was pretty much set. and I've transformed it, several times now between getting it and, presenting it here on camera to you. One thing I do want to mention, as I feel it's important to note in this new age, like the other Legacy figures, this does come in that open front box with plastic ties on the inside, but also you really end up having to untransform Jhiaxus's, that's a tongue twister, wing section, the wing pack, to get the figure out of the box. So just be aware of that, how it'll unaccordion and stuff like that, and that's probably what you'll have to do to get it back in the box. If you're someone like me who uses the boxes for storage. But that's, little 3-cent problem. This is a great figure, and definitely I think should be part of your collection, especially if you're a fan of those G2 comics. I kind of want to say that Jhiaxus was very popular overseas in the UK. So do all my British fans. Chip chip hey, cheerio, have a spot of tea. Yeah, I shouldn't be allowed out in public, but that's about it. So if you like this review, like, comment, subscribe. It'll help with the YouTube algorithms. Join my Patreon. Link here in the corner. Hyperlink in the description below. $1 a month, $12 a year. But if you can't, your views are more than thanks enough, and I really do appreciate the views. So, this is your owl pal Chuck for Jhiaxus. I'll see you next time.